Welcome to Prime Cyber Insights. I'm Thatcher Collins. Today, we're looking at a vulnerability that hits the absolute ceiling of the risk scale. You know, in the world of astrophysics, we look for perfect constants. But in cybersecurity, a perfect 10 is really the stuff of nightmares.
I'm Maya Kim, and yeah, that perfect 10 refers to the CVSS 10.0 rating for a new remote code execution flaw in N8N. That's a popular workflow automation platform, for those who don't know. This vulnerability, tracked as CVE 2026-2187, affects both self-hosted and cloud versions. It's essentially a wide-open door for authenticated users to execute untrusted code.
It's a massive exposure, Maya. I mean, when an automation tool, which by definition has its fingers in every part of a company's data stream, is compromised, the impact is just astronomical. The maintainers are urging anyone on versions between 0.123.0 and 1.121.3 to patch immediately. I mean, like right now. If you can't, you really need to disable the Git node and strictly limit any untrusted access.
Right. It reminds me of a systemic infection in a hospital. Once it's in the circulatory system, every organ is at risk. And speaking of hospitals and infrastructure, we're seeing a startling report from Taiwan. Their National Security Bureau recorded nearly 1 billion cyber intrusion attempts in 2025, with energy sector attacks jumping tenfold compared to the previous year. Tenfold!
A tenfold increase is staggering, Maya. It suggests a strategic shift from simple data theft to targeting the literal power grid. Groups like Black Tech and Flax Typhoon are probing network equipment and industrial control systems. It's a coordinated effort that often peaks around significant political events, like the anniversary of the president's inauguration.
Exactly. And the human cost is clear. Emergency rescue and hospitals saw a 54% rise in attacks. While we're on the subject of critical failures, we have to talk about Veeam. They've patched a 9.0 rated vulnerability that allows privileged accounts to perform RCE. In the hierarchy of protection, your backup server is your last line of defense, Thatcher. It's the final wall.
Right. I mean, if the attacker controls the backup, they control the recovery. It's the ultimate leverage for ransomware. On a slightly different note, Meta is dealing with a messy situation with Instagram. They fixed a flaw that allowed third parties to trigger password reset emails, though they're denying claims from Malwarebytes that 17 million accounts were actually leaked.
Regardless of whether it was a fresh leak or an old API scrape, the lesson for our listeners remains the same. Enable multi-factor authentication. I mean, we saw 50 global companies breached recently simply because they didn't have MFA active on their file-sharing platforms. It's basic digital hygiene that we just can't afford to ignore anymore.
Well, governments are finally stepping up to provide that infrastructure-level support. The UK just announced a £210 million cyber action plan. They're aiming for a defend-as-one strategy, setting much higher resilience standards for companies providing critical services like utilities and health. It's about time.
It's a necessary investment for sure. With nationally significant incidents in the UK rising from 89 to over 200 in just 1 year, the public sector needs more than just a Band-Aid. It needs a complete immune system overhaul. We'll be watching to see how this funding actually translates to resilience on the ground.
From perfect 10 flaws to billion-hit campaigns, the scale of the digital frontier is only growing. Make sure your systems are patched and your MFA is on. For Prime Cyber Insights, I'm Thatcher Collins.
And I'm Maya Kim. Stay safe, stay vigilant, and we'll see you in the next episode. Neural Newscast is AI-assisted, human-reviewed. View our AI transparency policy at neuralnewscast.com.